All right.
Hey, welcome to Tech Talk. We're here at the Billy Idol show with Rem Massingill. He's Rem. I'm Remco.
There you go, my friend.
Welcome to Australia.
Thanks,
As if
man.
you haven't done this before. The microphone wasn't on, so we got to take two.
Yeah. Well, welcome back for me. I've been here a few times and I love it. And thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You know, it's a pleasure for us to talk to technical guys like myself. You know, it's one of those things that most people forget about.
True.
You know,
It's something that that has to be done, and we're here for a very specific reason, and that's to make sure all these instruments are dialed in, rocking, and ready to go for the show.
Yeah.
With a guy like Steve, we have a lot of instruments. We have.
Yeah, we go through that later on. You know, let's
Sure, we've got
that.
a fair amount of equipment to deal with as well too. But you know, we were talking earlier about what we do day to day, and especially today, it's much more humid here in Brisbane than it was yesterday or day before in Melbourne. So necks are going to move. You're going to have to make the truss rod adjustments, get everything, you know, working right, and that's a big part of it. String changes, obviously, those are the two most important things, and looking after the instruments and the rig, make sure everything's rocking and ready to go.
Yeah. So how did you get rolled into this? Because it's not something you're gonna wake up in high school gonna go, hey, career day, I'll become a guitar tech.
Right. Well, for me, it started off with, you know, playing the guitar at a fairly young age. Built my first guitar in wood shop when I was in school, and probably about the 10th grade, 9th grade, I think it was. No, I think it was the 8th.
We did it in my school.
It was like the 8th grade, as a matter of fact. Did a little Explorer. That was fun.
You still got that?
I don't. I wish I
bummer.
did, though.
Yeah,
Jeez, I know, right? Somebody has it somewhere. And then I started building cabinets. I started building racks for myself, messing, you know, with amps, and I just always did my own work. And then obviously played in bands. That, you know, I didn't start out, you know, being a tech. I started playing and taking care of my own stuff. And I actually had a couple of techs working for me. And one time I was just freshly back in Los Angeles and looking for a new project, and I kind of got thrown into Danzig was my first gig, just out of nowhere. I went out and tech for Danzig, and because of everything I'd done for myself, I feel like I did a pretty good job, and from there it just kind of took, and it's a way to pay the bills, that's for sure.
Yeah, and how long are you ready with Steve now then?
I've been with Steve for probably going on 4 years almost.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty steady job then.
Yeah, absolutely. 3-4 years, and we have a great time, and love the music, love the band, love the people, love the crew. It's a solid camp over there.
Well, it's important that it's a tight group. Because if you got one rotten apple in there, you know, it ruins the whole tour.
Oh, fun.
I've been on those trips.
I don't want to eat any of the fruit if there's a moldy piece in there.
Exactly. you just kick them out. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, so what's the average day look like?
It's a
Get up early?
It's a long day. I'm not first in, you know, lighting comes in, then we've got audio come in, but once backline's in, I'm pretty much here all day. Set up first, get ready for line check, doing guitar, string changes, setups, get everything taken care of, watch the gear all day long, get ready for the show. Show's over, pack it up, on to the next. Yeah, it's a long one, but it's a great gig.
It's a lot of fun.
Sure.
Hey, what's the weirdest thing you ever had during a show where you weren't gonna go like?
You know, I'd say about a year and a half ago, we were in Europe, and the power went crazy, and our effects rack started doing all kinds of nutty stuff, and I had an extra variac in one of the boxes, and I pulled it out and I adjusted, brought the voltage back up to where we needed to be, and that was a pretty crazy. When controllers stop working, and you have to be on your toes, you have to try to think.
Figure out what's
you got
the
to figure it out.
Because you bring all the stuff from America over here, or these amps from Australia?
Yeah, no, these are American amps, and obviously all of our electronics as well. It's all, you know, 117 or 120 is what we're looking at, not 220 or 240. And so we have to, you know, have step down transformers that come, they feed me the power like that, but wherever it starts, it's within a certain range, so it can go up or down, and I use a variac on the heads regardless, and they're always at 118, and that keeps them solid.
Yeah, so they don't overpower themselves.
Exactly.
And all that.
Exactly.
All right. Still rolling?
All right, so basically what we got going on here is our main vault. We've got 8 guitars in here. Pretty much our number one is Steve's signature Nags here, the red sparkle, beautiful guitar.
Beautiful, yeah. And pretty low action to see on it,
Steve actually likes to get underneath the strings, so he likes a fair.
So it's pretty high then.
He likes it a little bit higher than I would
That's
say
a nice
most.
finish, AJ.
How about this one? Yeah, this is gorgeous. This one has the Fishman pickups in it, the active pickups.
Is that the one that Frank put in?
Frank did, as a matter of fact. Yeah. We replaced, I think, the bridge in this not too long ago. Custom leopard guitar. Joe Nags and Peter over there just do an unbelievable job. And the whole team, those guys,
Very sexy.
and they build beautiful, beautiful guitars. This is our E flat guitar, which is an amazing silver burst. Gorgeous axe right here.
Even the pickups, they just call it with it. Yeah.
Steve really looks after the appointments. He has a lot of beautiful, beautiful instruments, and like his playing, it's all.
Now, are they all in a lot of different tunings, or all
E flat for that one? But these two are both in E. This one is in E as well. The majority of all of our stuff is in E.
standard tuning?
Yeah. This is a beautiful Gibson Les Paul right here, with these really, really cool pickups that actually have Gibson engraved in there.
Gibson.
Oh man, it's great. Swarovski crystals.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
Somebody's been busy, eh?
Somebody did. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. That's
Here's Steve Shredder guitar. This is his Severn. So, you know, neck through.
Oh, sexy.
And it's like a super strat, you know, basically.
Is it nice and light, that one?
It still has a little bit of weight to it. It still does have a little bit of weight to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
it
solid,
looks like
it's a solid
like a good
guitar.
Les Paul, yeah.
Yeah,
To feel that for 2 seconds.
of course.
Wow, that's way heavier than I thought.
Yeah.
That's-
Neck through, really great. You know, Jackson style almost.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
what I'm thinking personally. When we here's the nylon that he uses for his solo. Obviously, it has the piezo pickup in here and also the 13 pin because he does the guitar synth as well too.
Okay,
Yeah.
To a Variax or so?
Not through a Variax, through the Roland GR33 is
Okay,
our
cool.
main synth.
Yep.
13 pin. Here's our steel string, same setup as well, acoustic and 13 pin GK. And then we use the LGXT from Godin for songs like Flesh for Fantasy or Ghost in My Guitar, where Steve needs an electric.
And
He
acoustic,
also
yeah.
needs an acoustic, and he also needs a synth. So we have 3 inputs
Whoa.
on this
Going out, yeah.
instrument right
That's
here.
amazing.
And he really works those 3 different variations of the guitar
One
in
go.
a very
And
spectacular way.
That would actually increase like stress for you, making sure all the lines are working right.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's a
So-
big thing. You got to check, make sure that
Yeah.
the synth and the electric system are working in conjunction with
Right.
each other
There's
as
no
well
latency
too.
or anything, because
Sure, and then you know I keep some backups. I've got a backup nylon
Yeah.
in case we have an issue there. I've got a backup Godin here, which is down in E flat.
instead of the
Sometimes-
other one, just that's
Well,
something,
it's a backup for this, but this
Yeah.
is actually normally the whole step down guitar. We're not doing a whole step song now, so I'll leave
no
this
point
at
in
E
doing it.
flat.
Yeah,
Another LGXT. This is a very specific instrument with the 3 outputs. If something happened to that one, I like to have a backup one that is that's similar. And then another steel string right here because obviously it's synth access and steel, so you got to have some backups.
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's move over to
the amplifiers.
what we're using right now.
Yeah.
We'll come over to the pedal. Really our B rig because we're kind of in between rigs. We just retired the main big A rig recently, and we brought it here. And once we did a gig with the B rig, we really Steve really liked the way the Friedman was feeling to him. It's a more organic thing with just a pedal board. So we've got a GR33 for the synth right here. And then on this pedal board, it's pretty, you know, it's
Pretty basic,
the
huh?
basics, you know. He has one of the Friedman wahs on here, Polytune, this great alter ego tape back, a vintage Echo. It really sounds spectacular. The Vibe Machine, it totally gives you that Trower vibe. It is just really, really cool. Steve's signature Rockaway, overdrive, and EQ from J Rocket. TC Electronics subbing up in a whammy ricochet that he uses as kind of like a whammy
Do you like
effect.
those?
The ricochet?
Yeah.
He does. You can do some really cool stuff with it in a nice small package and get these the whammy type of eye things that you want. So there's the pedal board. Come back over here to the amp. We're using the BE100. This is Steve loves to use this amp. He also we've got some BE. We have a BE Deluxe right here as a backup just in case. We're running the Accent Shure Wireless, which is spectacular.
Yep.
We have the JZ track right here for the acoustic, which is an acoustic preamp with compression as well too, and a little cord. God, it's all dusty out here. The cord tuner as well too, the pitch black for just the acoustic line. And then I've got another Friedman cab underneath here.
So is this an
Isolation box?
Yeah, we just kind of ISO it up.
Yeah.
We got a Friedman
wow.
cab, a couple of AKG mics. And this is what we're using right now.
Wow.
We usually use a full
cool.
wet, dry, wet signal situation. This is just in between until we get back to our stereo rig, which is coming back soon. A brand new rig that Steve had built recently. So
Yeah. Well,
you know,
this is
but
a good
this is-
touring rig.
This is a great touring rig.
Yeah.
It sounds fantastic. It's really organic. It's Dave's amps are really sound great. It's got a killer clean sound as well as the monster overdrive tone there with the gain boost and effects loop. So
it's only always one head. So this is the cab, but
This
it's
is
only
the cab.
one head that's
It's
going.
only one head right now. We're
This is
normally
mono,
using two
stereo,
heads. Yeah,
two
the
heads.
old one, the old rig was two heads at the same time with the power amp for left, right.
Yeah, wow.
The stereo rig is two heads, both with effects loop in it, which is what we'll bump right back up to.
And that decision, is that your, like, do you advise
No,
to say what he says?
Steve is very knowledgeable about his gear. He's not only a player, but he's also very knowledgeable about equipment from guitars to amps and everything in between. And he has very specific things that he needs for his songs. And of course, we work together. But Steve usually lets me know when he chooses he wants to change something up. That definitely comes from him.
And I was expecting to see a loop, like, you know,
A looper pedal, or
yeah, where you're not so much looping, but guitar different, like, effects loops.
On a
Right.
5-point
Well,
system.
we have
Yeah.
the other rig that we have. This is really what you guys are seeing here is a
Small
small
one.
B
Right.
rig that is like what he uses just to go play a gig. If he's doing a Royal Machines thing or Kings of Chaos or something like that,
Right.
it's just going to be a real simple, straightforward, easy to fly with type of situation. So this rig rundown for us is the most stripped down that you'll see Steve ever on a Billy Idol thing. On all the other rigs, of course, RJM, we're using RJM equipment.
Romanelli,
we're using the
beautiful stuff
GT24.
he built.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Ron is just amazing. He's a great dude. And we have the Access Electronics and the main A rig. So everything does have the loops. It's one button, turn the loops on and off, plus MIDI switching, all of that kind of stuff that goes into one. The rig that you'll see next time will have, you know, two BE100s, the RJM full setup going with the pedal board and the Mastermind controller, and that's what we're about to move back to. So yeah, Steve's been doing this kind of switching and stuff since the
Long
days,
time.
of course.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I said, this is definitely a stripped down situation.
I
Trying to
just
find
wanted to
a
ask you
perfect gig.
three
Yeah.
questions about other artists you work with.
Sure.
So I've just come back from LA and got to play with Mr. Morello.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Tom, one of my favorite people and one of my favorite players in the world. Just a
So I was
spectacular
doing
guy.
the elbow thing.
The elbow, I saw that. That's great. Yeah, Tom is really wonderful. I started working for Tom back doing Street Sweeper Social Club with Carl. Carl is the one.
Yeah, Carl's amazing. Hey.
Carl Restivo, another one of my favorite people. Carl and I met at Coachella. I helped him out doing a Perry Farrell gig, and he called me a few weeks later and goes like, "You want to go to Japan with Tom Morello?" And I'm like, "Sure." He goes, "Well, I'm going to put your name in the mix." And I go, "I worked with a couple of guys." And he goes, "Well, who you work for?" And I'm like, "Well, I work for Jerry Cantrell."
Whoa.
I just started talking about a couple other guys. He goes, "Oh, great, they're friends. We'll knock it all out." And and that kind of came to. You know, I started, my first gig was with Danzig.
I love Danzig.
We moved back to LA and I got a gig with Danzig, and then I came back. I did Jerry for a while, took care of Dave Navarro for a little while.
Wow.
I mean, I've done,
That's awesome.
done quite a few guys. Deftones is Steph Carpenter is one of my best friends, great guy, and he's like my main gig. Steve and Stefan are the two guys that I work for more than anybody else, and we're actually about to be back in Australia next month doing some, or I'm
we
sorry,
going back next
month after next.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll be
see each
back.
other again then.
Yeah. So
But I wanted to ask, when you get a new client, do they surrender their rig and you just unbolt it to make sure that you understand everything?
It's a lot of times we build new rigs. Not all the time would we unbolt everything and put it back together. If the rig needed it, yes.
Right.
I've built other rigs. You know, the guys from Rise Against, I was working with Zach and Tim for quite a while.
Buck Cherry,
good friends.
because I love Buck Cherry.
Oh, Keith is another one of my favorite people and one of my best friends. And I was out with Keith for quite a while.
Yeah.
Just had lunch with him the other day.
Oh, wow.
He is a vintage guitar expert, and his amps and his collection and he's now producing a lot of stuff. And Keith is very knowledgeable. in the
Very
business.
melodic playing.
Oh yeah. Stones. He's got a lot of great classic rock chops.
And talking about melodic playing, you're playing.
Yes.
He's actually a famous musician as well.
I don't know about famous, but I do enjoy playing quite a bit. My band Texas Rifles. I think I'm about to do a reunion with my metal band from Texas called Porn Lab.
And instrumental?
Not too much instrumental, but we love to play some leads in some of them, and sometimes we just like to get down. Texas Rifles is like a southern rock, little bit of country, Stevie Ray Vaughan influence, lots of ZZ Top, that kind of vibe. So, you know, my taste in music, you know, range quite a bit, and I just love good music and good songwriting and great playing, and I continue down this road that I love, which is the music business, even though it's been, you know, got a little rough in the middle, you know, right in the middle of right when I was getting going. We took a big chop, but you know, we're here to stay, and we have a great time, and that's what it's all about. We're out here, we have a good time, and hopefully play and, you know, play with people that make great music. That's what we love to do.
But this guy's a legend, so thank you for your time, sir.
All right, my friend, you got it. Thank you. All right.
With my stand,